How did my business trip end with my husband standing at the airport gate, calm, holding divorce papers with my name on them? Why did he look like the victim for months and then suddenly look like the only adult in the room? My name is Vida Winter, and I used to think I was the honest one in our marriage. I know how that sounds now. But back then, I told myself I was only doing what I needed to do. I said I had carried the emotional weight for years. I said Ethan was lucky I stayed at all. Ethan Mercer was my husband. He was steady and quiet. He worked with aircraft schedules and maintenance plans, and he liked order, he liked lists, he liked the same mug every morning. I used to call that stable. Later, when I got bored, I started calling it controlling. That week started in our kitchen, with the smell of toast and the kids asking for cereal at the same time. Mia wanted the blue bowl. Noah wanted the spoon that made noise. Ethan moved around them like he had done it 1,000 times. He asked what time I needed to leave for work. I said it was normal time. He asked if I wanted him to do school drop-off. I said I could handle it. I did not want his help. His help felt like a spotlight. I had already decided the lie. I told myself it was not a lie yet. I told myself it was a plan. Plans can change, and that makes people feel less guilty. I worked as a marketing coordinator at a logistics company. It was not glamorous, but it gave me an excuse to talk about travel. People expect travel from logistics. They do not ask too many questions if you sound tired. At the office, the open plan room was loud with keyboards and small jokes. My manager, Jordan Kim, asked how the client presentation was going. I said it was nearly done. Jordan asked if I could cover a short trip next week to support the account. I said yes before thinking. My heart beat fast, but I held my face still. I said it like it was simple. Later, I went to the break area and texted Cassidy Lane. Cassidy was my best friend. She loved drama, but she called it confidence. She asked what was new. I told her I might travel for work. She said it sounded exciting. I said I needed excitement. She said I deserved it. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with Logan Pierce's name. Logan was a sales rep who came into our office sometimes. He wore clean shoes and smiled like it was a job. He always remembered small things about me. He asked if I was free this week. I said it was complicated. He said he could make it easy. I told myself that was what I needed. When I drove home, I practiced my story in my head. I said I would have a last-minute business trip. I said the client needed a face-to-face meeting. I said it was good for my career. I made it sound like the family would benefit. I did not say the real reason, even to myself. At home, Ethan was on the floor, building a block tower with Noah. Mia sat at the table coloring. The scene looked warm, like a picture people post online. I hated how it made me look like the problem. I said I was tired and went straight to our bedroom. I pulled out a small suitcase. Mia followed me and asked why I was packing. I said work was sending me for one night. She asked if I would miss her bedtime story. I said I would call. I heard my own voice and felt annoyed. I told myself she was being dramatic. She was 7. Ethan came to the doorway and asked where I was going. I said it was a client visit. He asked which city. I said it was still changing. He asked why it was so sudden. I said that was how my job worked. He said he could help me plan. I said I did not need help. He asked if this was about stress. I said he was making it about himself. I watched his face. He did not get loud. He did not accuse me. That made it harder. When people do not shout, you cannot point to their shouting. At dinner, Denise Winter, my mother, called. She asked how I was. I said I was busy and under pressure. She asked if Ethan was supporting me. I said he was not. Denise said I needed to choose myself. I agreed quickly. I did not mention the suitcase. I did not mention Logan. I only mentioned stress, because stress makes lies look reasonable. After dinner, Ethan cleaned the kitchen. I scrolled on my phone and acted like I was reading work emails. He asked if we could talk later. I said I had too much to do. He asked if I was angry. I said I was just focused. He said he missed me. I said he missed the old version of me, not the real me. That line felt powerful when I said it. I did not care that it was unfair. When he walked away, I saw his phone light up on the counter. A calendar reminder flashed for a second. It said, "Meeting, personal," with a time under it. He noticed me looking and turned the screen down. He did not snap. He did not panic. He just moved it like it was normal. That tiny move made my stomach tighten. I told myself he was hiding something too. I said that meant we were even. I said it gave me permission. Later that night, I stood on the balcony and called Cassidy. She asked if I was really doing it. I said yes. She asked if Ethan suspected. I said he always suspects because he likes control. Cassidy said I should post something about being busy and grinding. I said I would. She told me to take a photo in the airport, even if it was quick. I said I could handle it. I also called Logan. He asked if I booked the flight. I said I would. He asked if I felt guilty. I said Ethan had pushed me away for years. Logan said he understood. He said I deserved someone who saw me. I let that sentence fill my head like music. In bed, Ethan asked if I needed anything for the trip. I said no. He asked for the flight number in case of emergency. I said he was being controlling again. He said he only wanted to help. I said help was another word for watching me. He went quiet after that. I opened my laptop and bought a ticket. My finger hovered over the purchase button for 1 second. Then I clicked it. The confirmation email arrived right away. I stared at it and felt proud, like I had taken back power. I did not plan to get on that plane. I planned to use the airport like a stage. I planned to get my proof, meet Logan, and come home with a clean story. Before I fell asleep, I heard Ethan in the hallway. He did not come into the room right away. There was a soft sound, like a drawer closing. Then he came in, turned off the lamp, and lay on his side, facing away from me. I told myself he was sulking. I told myself he wanted me to feel bad. I told myself I would not. I closed my eyes and imagined the rooftop bar where Logan said we could meet after my flight. I imagined the city lights and my phone buzzing with compliments. I imagined Ethan stuck at home, finally learning what it felt like to miss me. And then I imagined something else without trying. I imagined Ethan standing calm, holding his face still, watching me with a kind of patience I did not understand. I woke up before my alarm, like my body knew I was about to do something that would change everything. The sky was still dark. Ethan was already up. I heard the kettle. I heard the soft sound of plates, careful and quiet, like he was trying not to wake the kids. In the kitchen, he looked normal. That bothered me. I wanted him to look worried. I wanted him to give me a reason. He asked if I slept okay. I said I was fine. He asked what time my flight was. I said it was late morning. He asked if I wanted him to drive me. I said no. He said he could do it because he had a flexible start time. I said I did not need a ride. He asked why I was sharp. I said I was stressed and he should not take it personally. Mia came in with messy hair and asked if I would be back tonight. I said yes, and I made my voice sweet for her. Noah asked for juice. Ethan poured it without looking at me. I told myself he was being cold. I told myself I was the one holding the family together, even while I packed my lie into a suitcase. When I left, Ethan followed me to the driveway. He held the car keys like he was still thinking he could help. He asked again if he should drive. I said it would be faster if I went alone. He asked if I could text when I landed. I said yes, because that sounded normal. Then he surprised me. He said he could walk me inside the airport so I would not rush. He said it softly, like it was kindness. I felt heat in my face. I said he was embarrassing me. I said he was acting like I could not handle my own life. He looked at me for a second and nodded once, like he had taken a note. As I drove out, I checked my mirror. His car was still in the driveway. He did not follow. That should have made me feel free. Instead, it made me feel like I was walking off a stage, and the audience had stopped clapping. At the airport parking garage, the air smelled like concrete and old fuel. I took a quick photo near a sign with the airport logo. I held my suitcase in the frame, like a prop. I posted it with a boring caption about early meetings. Almost right away, Cassidy reacted with hearts. A coworker liked it too. That small approval felt like proof that my story was working. I did not go straight to the terminal. I walked to a coffee shop near the airport, one of those places where people stare at screens and pretend they are busy. Logan was already there. He wore a jacket, like he was traveling too. He stood when he saw me, and he smiled like I was a prize. He asked if it was safe. I said yes. He asked if Ethan knew. I said Ethan never really knows anything. That was a lie, and I said it anyway. I told myself it was fine, because Ethan chose not to see me. I said that word in my head like it was a legal fact. Logan asked if I felt bad. I said I felt trapped at home. I said Ethan always acted like a manager, not a partner. Logan said he understood. He said I deserved fun. I let him say it, and I did not correct him. We talked about small things. He asked how long I could stay. I said one night. He asked if I could do more trips later. I said my job would allow it. That made it sound official. That made it sound clean. I liked how it sounded. When the barista called my name, I paid with my card without thinking. The receipt printed with a timestamp. I slid it into my pocket. I was not trying to make evidence. I was trying to feel normal. But normal leaves traces. After coffee, we walked outside. Logan asked if I wanted to go to the hotel now. I said yes. I told myself I had earned it. I told myself Ethan had taken years from me with his quiet rules. I told myself this was balance. In the hotel lobby, the floor was shiny and the air smelled like lemon cleaner. I kept my face calm. I watched the front desk clerk's eyes move from Logan to me and back. I held my head high. I wanted to look like I belonged there, like I was not sneaking. Logan checked in. He asked if I wanted to be listed on the room. I said no. I said it was safer. He laughed and said I was smart. I liked that. I liked being called smart while I was doing something stupid. Upstairs, I checked my phone. Ethan had texted once. He asked if I got to the airport okay. I said yes. He asked if boarding was soon. I said there was a delay. I could almost see him reading it in his calm way, like he was saving the message instead of believing it. Cassidy texted too. She asked if I posted the airport photo. I said yes. She asked if I needed her to cover anything. I said maybe later. She told me to keep my story simple. I agreed. In the afternoon, I went into the hotel bathroom and took another photo. I did not show anything private. I only showed the mirror, the neat lighting, my face looking fresh. I sent it to Cassidy and said I looked tired from travel. She said I looked great. She told me to add a caption about client prep. I did. I spent the next hours floating between excitement and irritation. When Logan was charming, I felt powerful. When he looked at his phone too long, I felt used. I asked who he was texting. He said it was work. I told myself men always have excuses. Then I told myself Ethan also had excuses. I used that thought to calm my guilt. In the evening, Logan suggested we go out for dinner. I said no, because public places have eyes. I said we should stay in. He asked why I was tense. I said Ethan was unpredictable. That was another lie. Ethan was the most predictable person I knew. I called him unpredictable because it made me sound like a survivor, not a liar. Later, I stepped into the hallway to call home. Mia answered Ethan's phone. She asked where I was. I said I was in a hotel for work. She asked if I would read her a story. I said I would tomorrow. She said okay, but her voice sounded small. I heard Noah in the background asking for Dad. Ethan took the phone and asked if my flight landed. I said yes. He asked which hotel. I said the company booked it. He asked the name. I said I did not remember. He went quiet for a second, and then said goodnight. After the call, my hands shook a little. I stared at the carpet pattern in the hallway and tried to breathe. I told myself Ethan was asking too many questions. I told myself it was his fault my lies felt heavy. I told myself if he trusted me more, I would not have to lie so much. When I came back into the room, Logan asked what was wrong. I said my husband was acting strange. Logan said Ethan probably suspected. I said Ethan could not do anything without proof. I said that like it was a shield. Before sleep, I checked my phone one more time. I noticed a missed call from an unknown number earlier, during the coffee shop. I stared at it. I told myself it was spam. In the quiet, I thought about Ethan's face in the driveway. Not angry, not begging, just watching. I told myself he was weak for not fighting. I told myself I'd already won. Then my phone buzzed again. It was Ethan. The message was short. He said he hoped I traveled safe. He added one line. He said he had to handle some house stuff in the morning, so the kids' schedule might shift. I read it twice. House stuff was his language for something planned, something written down. I tried to laugh it off, but my chest stayed tight, like my body believed the truth before my mind did. The next morning, I left the hotel early. I told Logan I needed to check in with my team before my meeting. He asked if I was nervous. I said I was just busy. He asked if I wanted him to come with me to the terminal for the photo part. I said no. I did not want him near the parts of my lie that touched my real life. In the ride back toward the airport, I stared out the window and practiced my return. I planned to arrive home with a tired face and a little complaint about travel. I planned to hug the kids and act like a hero. I planned to make Ethan feel small for doubting me. At the terminal, I walked through the public area and watched people rush with backpacks and rolling bags. I went straight to a gate screen and took a photo of the departures board. It was not my flight. It did not matter. It looked official. I sent it to Cassidy and said my flight home was delayed again. Cassidy replied with a laughing emoji and told me to keep it consistent. She asked if Ethan was still calm. I said yes, like it was an insult. I walked into the airport restroom and changed my top to look more travel-worn. I pushed my hair back and dabbed water on my face. I looked at myself in the mirror and told myself I was smart. I told myself all relationships have secrets. I told myself Ethan's secret was that he wanted to own me. On the drive home, I called Denise. I said the trip was exhausting. I said the client was demanding. Denise said she was proud of me for working so hard. She asked if Ethan was being supportive. I said he was acting cold. Denise said men get scared when women grow. That line made me feel righteous. I used it like armor. When I arrived home, the house looked too clean. The entryway shoes were lined up. The counter had no clutter. The air smelled like lemon cleaner, like the hotel. That should have been a nice thing. It made me angry instead, because it felt like Ethan could function without me. Ethan was in the kitchen cutting fruit for the kids. Noah sat in his chair, kicking his feet. Mia was drawing at the table. Ethan looked up and asked how the trip was. His tone was flat, but not cruel. I wanted to accuse him of something. There was nothing to grab. I said the trip was stressful. He asked if I ate. I said yes. He asked if the meeting went well. I said it did. He asked what city I went to in the end. I said it changed last minute and it was hard to explain. He nodded once. He did not push. That made my lies feel louder in my own head. Mia ran to me and hugged my waist. She asked if I brought her anything. I said I forgot because I was busy. She pulled back like she did not want to show disappointment. Ethan saw it and gave her a small smile, like he was telling her it was okay. I felt jealous of that smile. That weekend, there was a community fundraiser at a hall near the river. Cassidy was going. Denise was going too. Ethan did not want to go, but I insisted. I said it would look good for us. I said people needed to see we were fine. Ethan asked why it mattered so much. I said he always isolated us. He said he did not isolate us. He just liked quiet. I said his quiet was a form of control. At the fundraiser, the room was full and warm. People stood in groups with paper cups. A local band played soft music. I felt eyes on me, and I liked it. I introduced Ethan to people like he was a coworker, not a husband. I touched his arm when I wanted him to move. I did it gently, but it was still a command. Cassidy came over and asked how my trip went. She said it loud enough for others to hear. I smiled and said it was intense but productive. A woman from my office asked if I traveled often. I said I did now. Ethan stood beside me holding 2 cups, quiet, polite, and clearly confused. I looked at his face and felt an urge to make him look worse, because his calm made me look bad. I started telling a story about how Ethan worries too much. I said he wants every detail. I said he checks things like a manager. People laughed politely. I pretended it was a joke, but my goal was not laughter. My goal was a label. If people labeled him as jealous, my cheating would look like a reaction, not a choice. Ethan asked if we could talk outside for a minute. He asked it quietly. I saw how careful he was being, and it made me furious. If he had raised his voice, I could have pointed and said, "See?" But he did not. I said he was trying to control me again. I said he could not handle being around people. Cassidy rolled her eyes like Ethan was a child. Denise stepped in and said, "Ethan should relax and let me enjoy myself." Ethan looked at Denise and nodded, like he was acknowledging her words, not fighting them. Outside near the entrance, Ethan asked why I was being sharp in public. He asked if I was unhappy. I said he was twisting things. I said he was making me look crazy. He said he only wanted to understand. I said he never listens. I said he only listens to rules. When we went back in, I made it worse. I told a group that Ethan doesn't like me having friends. That was not true. He liked friends. He did not like Cassidy's influence, and he was right. I did not say that part. Later, at a long family dinner table in a restaurant, I kept the story going. Denise sat beside me and nodded as I spoke. Kelsey laughed at the right parts. Raymond stayed quiet and stared at his plate. Ethan ate slowly and focused on Mia and Noah. He asked Mia about school. She said she liked art time. He asked Noah about his toy car. Noah pushed it across the table and smiled. I watched them and felt a strange panic. Ethan looked like a good father in public. That did not fit my story. So I made a new one. I said Ethan was cold at home. I said he made the house feel tense. I said I was walking on eggshells. Denise said that sounded unhealthy. Cassidy, on speaker in my earbud for a moment, texted that I was doing great. I felt my chest lift with pride. On the train ride home, Ethan sat across from me with the kids between us. The window showed dark reflections. I checked my phone, waiting for Ethan to text something emotional, something I could show Denise as proof. He did not. Instead, he sent one message. He said to pick up the kids at 5 the next day because he had work tasks. No extra words, no apology, no anger. That silence hit me like a slap, even though he did nothing wrong. I told myself he was punishing me. I told myself he wanted me to feel small. I told myself he was playing games. When we got home, the kids ran to their rooms. I went toward the office to see what Ethan was doing, but the door was closed. I heard a steady mechanical sound behind it. It was low and consistent, like a machine eating paper. I stood there with my hand near the handle, and I listened. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me. But the sound kept going, calm and steady, like he had been planning it for a long time. On Monday morning, I went back to the office like nothing happened. I wore my serious blazer and carried my laptop like it was proof of honesty. I told myself work was my shield. If I looked busy, no one would question me. In the open plan office, Jordan waved me over. Jordan asked how the client trip went and if I could send the notes. I said it went fine and I would send the notes after lunch. Jordan asked which client contact I met with. I said it was a rotating team and I only met the lead. Jordan paused. Jordan said they did not see my travel request in the system. I laughed and said it must not have synced yet. I felt a small sting of fear, but I buried it fast. I told myself it was normal for systems to fail. I told myself if I sounded confident, people would follow my confidence. At my desk, I opened the timesheet portal. I stared at the week and the hours I had typed in. They looked clean. They looked like a story. I forgot that stories can be checked. An hour later, I got a message from our building security app. It was a notification about badge access. The app sometimes sent random alerts, but this time it listed entries and exits. I told myself it did not matter. Then I saw the date of my trip and the time. My badge had not been used at the office that day, which was fine, but the alert reminded me that data exists even when you do not ask for it. Cassidy called on my lunch break. She asked if Logan was still texting. I said yes. Cassidy asked if Ethan was still acting quiet. I said he was acting fake calm. Cassidy said that meant he was guilty too. I agreed, because it felt better. I needed Ethan to be guilty. If he was guilty, I could be equal. After lunch, I went to a gym near the office. I told Ethan I had a late work meeting. I sent the text while walking in. Ethan replied with one word, okay. That single word made me angry. I wanted him to argue. I wanted him to ask where I was. I wanted to feel important. In the gym locker room, I saw a woman from my office, Brielle, washing her hands. Brielle smiled and asked how my trip went. I said it was exhausting. Brielle said she thought she saw me near the airport on Friday afternoon, by the coffee shop. She said she was there picking up her brother. My stomach dropped. I forced a laugh. I said the airport had a client shuttle meeting spot, so maybe that was why. Brielle said she was pretty sure because she almost waved. I said I must have been rushing. I said travel days are a blur. Brielle nodded, but her eyes stayed on me 1 second too long. When I left the gym, I checked my phone. Logan had sent a message asking when we could meet again. I told him soon. I told him my husband was being weird. Logan sent a short reply and did not ask about my feelings. That annoyed me. He loved the fun parts and skipped the messy parts. On the way home, I stopped at the supermarket. The lights were bright and the aisles felt too open. I picked up fruit and snacks for the kids, like that could balance my choices. At the checkout, my card tapped and the screen flashed the time. I stared at it longer than I should have. I thought about receipts. I thought about patterns. I told myself I was being paranoid. But I also felt a new fear. Ethan's calm was not ignorance. It might have been patience. At home, Ethan was on the floor with Noah again, building another block tower. Mia was at the table doing homework. The TV was off. The house was quiet in a way I could not control. Ethan asked how my day was. I said it was stressful. Ethan asked if I needed help with dinner. I said no. He did not push. He just went to the sink and washed his hands. He moved like a person following a schedule, not a person following a mood. I hated that. I felt like I could not reach him. After dinner, I tried to start a fight on purpose. I said he had been cold since my trip. Ethan asked what I meant. I said he was punishing me with silence. Ethan said he was focusing on the kids and work. I said that was an excuse. Ethan asked if I wanted to talk about anything specific. I said he always makes me do proof like a courtroom. Ethan said he was not asking for proof. He said he just wanted honesty. That word hit me. Honesty. I laughed and said he was acting like a saint. Ethan did not react. He just looked at me like he was seeing me clearly, and it made my skin feel hot. That night, when Ethan went to the garage to take out trash, I followed quietly. The garage light was harsh and cold. I saw his car pointed outward toward the street instead of backed in like usual. That was small, but it felt like a signal. Like he wanted to leave fast if he needed to. On the shelf near his tools, I noticed a new key on his ring. It was not the house key. It was a plain silver key with a tiny tag. I stared at it. He had not mentioned it. I told myself it was for work. Then I remembered his house stuff text. Inside, I walked past his office and saw the door slightly open. The room smelled like toner again. On his desk, his laptop was open to a spreadsheet. I could not see the title. I could only see rows and columns, like a grid of dates and numbers. Beside the laptop was a sticky note that said, "Bring forms." My throat tightened. Ethan came behind me and asked what I needed. He did not shout. He did not accuse. He asked like a normal person. I snapped and said I was looking for tape. Ethan said the tape was in the kitchen drawer. I said he moved everything around. Ethan said he had not moved the tape. I turned it into a bigger thing. I said he was trying to confuse me so I would look forgetful. Ethan said that was not true. He said he was organizing the house because it helped him think. I said he should stop thinking so much and start being a husband. Ethan looked at me for a long second. Then he asked if I was meeting someone. He did not say it like an accusation. He said it like a question he already expected an answer to. My heart jumped. I laughed too fast. I said he was paranoid. I said his jealousy was getting worse. I said he needed therapy. I said he was the reason I felt suffocated. Ethan nodded once, like he accepted my speech as something he could file away. He walked past me into the kitchen and started loading the dishwasher. The sound of plates clinking was steady and calm. It felt like he was building a wall out of routine. Later, when the kids were asleep, I went into our bedroom and tried to pull Ethan back with softness. I sat near him and asked if he was okay. Ethan said he was tired. I said I missed us. Ethan asked what us meant to me right now. I said it meant he should stop acting like a robot. Ethan said he was not a robot. He said he was trying to stay respectful. Respectful. Another word that felt like a warning. Before I fell asleep, I checked my phone and saw Logan typing, then stopping, then typing again. He sent one short line. He said he could not do drama. I stared at it and felt my anger rise. I wanted to blame someone. I wanted to blame Ethan most of all, because blaming Ethan meant I did not have to look at myself. In the dark, I listened to Ethan's breathing. It was slow and even. It sounded like someone who had already made a decision. The next week I planned a bigger trip. One night had started to feel normal in my head, and that scared me, so I decided I needed to upgrade it. If I could make it look like real work travel, then it would become my new normal. That was my logic. I told myself the lie would feel smaller if I used it more. At the school pickup line, I sat in my car and watched other parents wave at their kids. The line moved slow. Mia climbed into the back seat and asked why Dad had been doing drop-off so much. I said he liked being in charge. Mia said he seemed happy doing it. I said he was only doing it to make me look bad. Mia did not answer. She looked out the window like she did not want to pick a side. When we got home, Ethan was in the kitchen making pasta for Noah. 2 mugs sat on the counter, one near the sink and one near the far end. They used to be side by side. Now they were like 2 separate corners. I stared at them too long. Ethan asked if I had a good day. I said it was fine. He asked if the kids had homework. I said Mia did. He nodded and kept stirring the pot. I wanted to break that calm. I wanted him to show emotion so I could tell people he was unstable. So I pushed. I said my manager might send me on another business trip soon. Ethan asked when. I said it was not set. Ethan asked where. I said it was still changing like before. Ethan paused, then asked if I could share the flight details earlier this time. I said he was being controlling again. Ethan said he was thinking about emergencies and the kids. I said he was using the kids as a weapon. Ethan did not argue back. He just said he understood. That made me feel like I was shouting into a soft wall. Later, while the kids watched a cartoon, I went to our bedroom and opened the closet. I pulled out my suitcase again. I did it slow, like I wanted Ethan to notice. He did not come in. He stayed in the living room and kept his voice gentle with the kids. I texted Logan and asked if he could meet me for 2 nights this time. He replied late. He said he could, but he did not want complications. I asked what that meant. He said he did not want to be blamed if my husband found out. I stared at the message and felt my stomach twist. He wanted the fun and none of the weight. I told myself that was normal for men like him. Then I told myself Ethan was also a man like that, just in a different costume. That thought helped me feel justified again. Denise called while I was packing. She asked if I sounded tired. I said Ethan was stressing me out. Denise asked what he did this time. I said he was acting cold and asking questions. Denise said he was trying to control me because he felt me slipping away. I said that was exactly it. I did not mention that I was actually slipping away on purpose. Kelsey texted too. She said she saw my posts, and I looked so independent. I liked that word. I told her I was working hard for our future. She sent clapping emojis. I felt supported. I felt surrounded by people who agreed with me, and that made my choices feel clean. That night at dinner, Ethan asked if we could set a clear plan for the kids if I traveled. He asked who would do pickup, bedtime, and breakfast. He asked it like a normal parent. I treated it like an attack. I said he was acting like I was abandoning them. Ethan said he did not say that. He said he just wanted stability for Mia and Noah. I said stability was his favorite excuse to limit me. Noah dropped his fork and started crying. Ethan picked it up, rinsed it, and gave it back to him. Mia watched us with her serious face. I felt a flash of shame, but I crushed it fast. I told myself Ethan was the one creating tension. I told myself I was only reacting. After the kids went to bed, Ethan went to the kitchen and started wiping down counters. I followed him and leaned against the doorway like I was the one being patient. I said he was punishing me for having a career. Ethan asked how he was punishing me. I said he was being distant. Ethan said he was being careful. I asked what that meant. He said he did not want to say things he could not take back. I said he was trying to sound wise so I would feel guilty. Ethan said guilt is not something he can make for me. I hated that sentence because it took my power away. I decided to go harder. I said he was not affectionate anymore. Ethan said he did not feel safe being close when he did not understand what was happening between us. I laughed and said he was dramatic. Ethan said he was serious. I said he was acting like a victim. Ethan said he did feel hurt. He said it was possible to be hurt and still act calm. He was not begging. That was the part that made me panic. The next day, I came home late on purpose. I said I had a meeting. In truth, I had sat in my car in a parking garage stairwell near the gym, staring at messages and trying to build courage for my next lie. When I walked in, Ethan did not ask where I had been. He was already in pajamas, reading to Mia. He looked up and said goodnight like it was nothing. In the kitchen, I saw a small sticky note near the fruit bowl. It said, "Bring forms." It was not in my handwriting. I touched it like it might bite me. Then I noticed a faint smell of toner again, like paper had been printed late at night. The house felt like a place where quiet work was happening without me. I went into Ethan's office when he was in the bathroom. The desk was clean. Too clean. His laptop was shut. A drawer was locked. I tugged it lightly and heard the solid click of a lock holding. That sound made my chest tighten. It was not angry. It was firm. When Ethan came back, he saw me near the desk. He asked what I was looking for. I said a charger. He pointed to the living room and said it was there. His voice stayed even. He did not accuse me of snooping. That was almost worse, because it told me he expected it. I said I was going on the trip, and I said it like a challenge. Ethan asked what dates. I gave dates. Ethan asked if I could put the plan on the family calendar so Mia would know when I would call. I said he was treating me like a child. Ethan said he was treating the situation like it was real. I asked him what he wanted from me. Ethan said he wanted honesty and respect. I said respect follows results, and I had results. Ethan looked at me for a long moment. He did not raise his voice. He did not move closer. He just watched me like he was taking in the last piece of a puzzle. Then he said one line that landed heavy in the quiet. He said he would handle it properly. I told myself Ethan's properly line was a threat meant to scare me. I told myself he was finally trying to control me with drama. I even smiled when he said it, like I was above it. Then I went right back to planning, because planning was how I stayed calm. 2 days later, I left before sunrise. I moved around the kitchen quietly, not to be kind, but to avoid questions. Ethan was already awake. He sat at the table with a plain mug, the one he always used now. The other mug sat far away, like we were roommates. He asked what time my flight was. I said mid-morning. He asked if I wanted him to drive. I said no. He asked if I could text when I landed. I said yes. I made my voice soft, like I was being mature. I wanted to look like the calm one. Mia came in rubbing her eyes. She asked if I was leaving again. I said it was only for work. She asked if I would call at bedtime. I said yes. Noah asked for cereal. Ethan poured it and did not look at me. I told myself he was sulking. I told myself he wanted attention and I would not feed it. In the driveway, I loaded my suitcase and shut the trunk. Ethan stood by the door with his hands in his pockets. He asked if I had the flight number saved somewhere in case of emergency. I said he could stop pretending it was about safety. Ethan said he was not pretending. I said he was making me feel like a criminal. He did not answer that. He just nodded once. As I drove away, I waited for an angry call. Nothing came. At the airport, I did my usual routine. I took one quick photo near a sign, posted it, and then walked away from the terminal. I met Logan across the street at a small cafe. Logan asked if I was okay. I said yes. Logan asked if my husband knew. I said Ethan was dramatic but harmless. I said that because I needed to believe it. We spent the day the way I had planned. No scenes, no loud choices, just quiet selfishness dressed up as freedom. When my phone buzzed with messages from Cassidy, I answered with confident lines. I said everything was under control. The next afternoon, I returned to the airport alone. I needed to re-enter my life like a professional. I needed the lie to feel smooth. I went into the terminal, walked through crowds, and followed signs to my gate. I kept my face neutral. I rehearsed my travel-tired voice. I told myself Ethan would be home doing dishes and waiting to be grateful that I came back at all. Then I saw him. Ethan stood near the gate area, not blocking anyone, not causing trouble. He wore clean jeans and a simple jacket. His posture was straight. His face was calm. Next to him stood a woman with a lanyard and a clipboard. She looked like she did this job every day. There was also an airport officer a few steps away, watching the flow of people the way officers do, bored and professional. For 1 second, my brain tried to make it a joke. I told myself Ethan came to surprise me. I told myself he wanted to reconcile. I walked closer with my chin lifted. Ethan looked at me and did not smile. He asked if I was Vida Winter. I said of course I was. Like that was a stupid question. The woman with the lanyard asked me to confirm my date of birth. I hesitated. Ethan said it was a formal service, and it had to be done correctly. My throat went dry. I asked Ethan what he was doing. He said he was handling it properly. He said it in the same calm tone as before, like he was repeating a rule. I said he was humiliating me in public. He said I had humiliated him in public for months. I said he was stalking me. He said he was at a public gate with a legal process and a neutral witness. The woman held out a packet. She asked me to take it. I tried to push it back, like refusing would erase it. The officer shifted his weight slightly, not threatening, just present. People walked by and glanced, then looked away, then glanced again. I felt heat crawl up my neck. I took the packet. On the top page, I saw my name printed clearly. I saw Ethan's name. I saw words that did not care about my excuses. Divorce petition. temporary orders, parenting schedule, instructions. I flipped one page and my stomach dropped harder. The schedule started today. It said where the kids would be, when I could see them, and how pickups would work. It said I could not remove them from school routines without written agreement. It also said communication had to stay focused and respectful, and that harassment would count against me. I looked up at Ethan, waiting for him to gloat. He did not. He just watched me like a person watching weather pass. I asked him if he really wanted to do this. He said yes. He said he would only talk through approved channels, unless it was about the kids. I said he was overreacting. He said he was reacting to facts. My phone buzzed. It was Denise calling. I did not answer. I could not make her voice save me here. Cassidy texted asking how it went. I did not reply. For the first time, my circle felt far away, like a crowd that leaves when the lights come on. The gate agent's voice called for boarding on a family flight. A child laughed somewhere behind me. Life kept moving, normal and loud, while I stood holding papers that made my private choices public in the only way that truly matters. I opened my mouth to speak, to twist it, to blame Ethan, to paint him as cruel. But the paper in my hands did not care what story I wanted to tell.